Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today is another Biweekly Reader. I think this is the 14th, and I now have a new setup. So I just want to, real quickly before I start talking about any of the books, say a huge thank you to my mom, who actually built this for me. And I mean, look at this. It looks so awesome, and it's such a cool way to display the books, and you'll understand what this is in a second, don't worry. But I love this setup behind me, and I mean, you guys can take a look right here. Is one of Jeff Brown's artworks for The Lies of Locke Lamora. I absolutely adore that, and of course, as can be expected of me, Farseer trilogy right there, and right below it, all of Realm of the Underlings and most of Sun Eater. Sun Eater's up there, and a bunch more. Like I got all the stuff around here. I think, yeah, if you can see it over there, there is the Wards of Light and Shadow, and I also put Wards of Radiance up there. I put a bunch of Broken Binding things all across here, and of course more to come. You'll see how I tweak this here and there from time to time, but that is what's happened. I'm so happy and excited about this new background, because not only is it just a beautiful, beautiful thing, like just to come into this room and look at that, but there is also a very practical reason for it. This is right now next to my desktop now. I hated working on my laptop. I'm grateful that I have a laptop, but oh my god. Working on my laptop is something that I've learned to hate. I love working on my desktop so much more, and so now that this is at my desktop, I can hook up and record straight to my desktop. It just makes my life so much easier, and it will probably make this so much easier a thing to do. So you can probably expect more consistent stuff out of me. Now, what do I have to talk about today? So I think I'm going to talk about the books that I've read. I've read 2 books, and I'm in the process of reading 2 other books. And those are, first, I finished Sordaneon, which was an amazing ending. This thing had such a fantastic ending. Like, we do not talk about this series enough. This needs to be talked about more. I'm gonna make sure it gets its own independent review. But man, this was a great book. Like, wow. Just the way we follow Durillion Sordaneon is our main character, and just the politics they're like Game of Thrones level politics. Everything will take you in a direction you expect, and yet it won't quite be as expected. It's really, really well done. I love Durillion as a character, and I also love the conflicts that are set up here. I love the idea of, I love the direction that this prince who has been deprived of love has been taken. Where are we going to take that story? And I love the direction it's been taken, with him learning to love. And it's so, there are such beautiful moments here, and such insane, like, this has those down-to-earth, beautiful moments of love, and then on the other hand, it also has those grand, epic fantasy moments of, like, we have these god machines that people are fighting for control over, like, through politics, and it's so good. It's so well done. Like, how will these god machines, which we use to move items and goods between place to place, how does this create a different economy? How does this affect these peoples? And it's so fascinating. And I loved it so much that I just, man, I need to continue the series. So, as soon as I finished Sordaneon, I got book 2, The Celt King. Man, I cannot wait to continue the series, as I said. And also, another really good upside to this series is The paper is printed in a real, it's a nice, thick, like, it doesn't feel, I can't see through it well. I can't see through the paper very well, and it's really nice when I can have just plain white paper that I can't see through very well. It really, really makes my life easier, because, I mean, I have bad eyesight, of course, but it's so, so nice. Now, I've talked enough about Sordaneon. Let's talk about the other book that I read, which is, it took me about 7 days to read. Actually, a little bit longer, but Empire of the Vampire. Hoo-hoo-hoo! Damn, this book was good. So I went in expecting to like it. I knew about the framing narrative. I knew about a lot of things, and man, oh man, did I love it. This just, it did not fail me. There was one thing that really shocked me. I thought, and I'm not going to talk too much about it if you're going to go completely blind, but I thought one thing about the way this story was going to be told by our main character, Gabriel de Leon, it was told in a very different way, in a very different manner than I expected, and I was kind of shocked. I did not expect that to happen, but I'm kind of happy it did. Now, I wonder how Book 2, Empire of the Damned, which I already bought, is going to pick up on this story. I don't know, like, am I going to continue, I want to know how he continues it in Book 2, because there are a couple possibilities, and I also think there was one thing towards the end that felt like it didn't really hit as much as it should have. And another thing I have to really, really give praise to is the way that this book has artwork. I'm going to try and find a non-NSFW artwork. Yeah, this is good enough. So it has artwork, which is, so for the framing narrative, Gabriel de Leon is being interviewed, and the person, or the person interviewing him, is drawing these illustrations, and I think that is so fascinating. I love that so much, and I think that's such a cool thing, and I cannot imagine this story without it now. But I just had such a great time with this. There was one or two characters that I wasn't too sold on by the end, and there were definitely a couple characters I kind of wish I could have spent more time with in this book, but there were moments in this book where I was cheering for the characters and having a great time. Now, this definitely isn't one of my favorites. It wasn't something that I'd say, go and get ready for a deep, thoughtful, nuanced experience. That's not what I felt. This was extremely fun. When I picked it up, I knew I was in for a good time. Good time. It's dark, by the way. I should add that. It's dark. But I had a great time reading it. I was enjoying it. It didn't feel like it was being anything too revolutionary. There were awesome parts of the world building, like the day's death. If you read it, you'll know what that means. But, I loved the day's death. Now, I do want to see where he takes all the little pieces he's dropped, all the things that he showed us, especially in the ending. Because the ending was fantastic. I have very few complaints about the ending. And as I said, there's like one thing that didn't quite hit for me with the ending, but I'm sure for most people it'll probably hit. I'm probably the outlier there. I loved the ending, though. And, I mean, as soon as I finished it, I wanted to pick up Empire of the Damned, but I had other things that I said I would read, so I'm going to read those things first. That said, I'm very excited to pick up Empire of the Damned, which is going to be a great time. Now, for what I am currently reading. Sailing to Sarantium by Guy Gavriel Kay, which is a buddy read with Sid from Professional Bookworm. Oh my god, I am loving this book so much. I am a little bit into chapter 1 because I actually just got a Kindle recently, which I'm very grateful to my uncle for giving me. But I got a Kindle, and that's where I'm reading a good chunk of this. But I also, of course, am reading it here in this physical edition. And man, it is great. I read the prologue, and I cannot wait to know more about Sarantium, to know more about the peoples of Sarantium, because the politicking in the first 40, 50 pages in that prologue was so good. And the way it set everything up. And oh man, I cannot wait to continue this, because A Song for Our Bond was brilliant, and I'm just as certain that Sailing to Sarantium will be just as brilliant. Now, for the other book I'm reading, I'm even less into this one. I mean, I'm not far into it than I am into Sailing to Sarantium. And that is The Veiled Throne by Ken Liu. This is the third book in the Dandelion Dynasty. I read book 2 back in, I think, January. Yeah, I had a great time with book 1. I thought book 1 is one of my favorite books of all time. Book 2 was a bit of a letdown. It wasn't bad by any means. It was just so different, and though I had been told to expect it to be very different, it still felt jarring to me. It still wasn't something I really wanted. Because I was hoping for more Grace of Kings, and the Grace of Kings is not what I got. Hopefully, I like Veiled Throne more than I did book 2. There were certain aspects of book 2 that I loved, by the way. Let me be very clear about that. And how do I say this without spoiling anything? The sail, that's all I'll say. The Wall of Storms was great. So, it's a fantastic book for its own reasons. And that's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to spoil anything. Now, Veiled Throne, I've been told, is fantastic in its own right. I can't wait to see what's happened. The start is a little... It's not what I expected, and it's not what I really want to read from this story right now. And so I'm just really praying that this is really important to the story, and I'm sure it will be, because Ken Liu does not mince with his words. He's a short story writer. He can't. But the start is not getting me. I hope that by, when I get to part 2 and so on and so forth, I get to see more of the characters that I'm used to and I remember and I love. So, that will be that. Now, aside from that, I'm sure you can see this. And you're probably wondering, what the hell is that? That's my book haul. So, I actually typically, I order a lot of things from the Broken Binding, but what happens is Broken Binding tends to ship in batches, so things happen around a certain month. For example, I just got most of my Broken Binding orders that I ordered earlier in the year just now. So I'm going to show them off. These are books 4 and 5 of Sun Eater. And oh man, it makes me so much more excited to just look at these. For book 7, I'm so excited. I at that moment almost picked up this book and started rereading it. And I mean, just look at this cover too. Look at these covers. I mean, if you've read these books, you know how good. Yes! It's just such fucking amazing covers. And let's not shirk the board art designs. Look at that. I mean, man, oh man. Ugh. And not only that, let's look at that beauty. Oh, look at that. It's so beautiful. And This is my favorite board art of all the Sun Eater books. This is my favorite board art. Look at that, and then look at Sirianni. It's so fucking cool. I love the purple aesthetic. I just love all that, and of course I shall show you. Oh, this is actually my first time looking at the inside of it, but man, it's so dope. It's so fucking cool. And I when I reread it, honestly, I think when Shadows Upon Time, once I've finished reading Shadows Upon Time, I'm gonna go straight back to book 1 and read the whole thing over again, because I'm sure there's so much that he's just sprinkled in foreshadowing. Now, I also got Will of the Many, slightly damaged copy of Will of the Many. I figured out what it was, but it was a couple pages in the inside bent, which still drives me insane. But, I mean, what am I going to complain about? I got an awesome copy of Will of the Many. This is actually by one of my favorite artists. Katrina Paints, I believe, is her name, or her handle. She's really a wonderful artist. If you know the Advent of Winter covers, or the Bone Ship trilogy, or the Tide Child trilogies covers, she did those. It's really, really stunning work. I absolutely love the things that she does. And, I mean, man. Now, everything else, I'm going to explain what that pile is. Yeah, I'm sure you can see it. I got all this. Uh-oh. That's heavy. I didn't realize that would be that heavy, and I worked out earlier today. So, all this right here was about 20 bucks. If I do say so myself, that's not a bad deal. Like, I got this for about 20 bucks. Maybe it was 30, but... Haha. Oh, man. Snow Queen, this is a sci-fi, I think, standalone that has the Janny Wirtz stamp of approval. This is book 1 of the Stone Dance of the Chameleon trilogy, called The Chosen by Ricardo Pinto. I'm probably butchering the name, but I've heard great things about this, so I want to check out this trilogy. This is The Dragon's Legacy by Deborah A. Wolfe, which is the first in its own trilogy, and I've heard great things about this book as well, and I want to check this out. What I try to do is I like to hear people say, this is a great book, or this is a great niche book, and I want to give it a shot. So I just kind of put it aside and say, great, I'm going to give that a shot one day. That sounds awesome. Now, this is the start of another really long series by Michelle West, I think that's how you pronounce her name. It's called the Assalian series. And this is, I think, an 8-book main series with a couple sub-series that you're supposed to read within this. And, like, there's a duology and I think another trilogy somewhere in there, and that's about it. So, somewhere along 14 to 15 books. And I've heard great things about this book specifically, The Hidden City, book 1, and I want to give it a shot, you know? I love long series, so I gotta check it out. And then, of course, another book with the Janny Wirtz seal of approval, that is Fortress in the Eye of Time. Let's be honest, I got it for the name and Janny Wirtz's seal of approval. That name, Fortress in the Eye of Time, is one badass name. And let's not only talk about the name, but look at that cover. Yeah, I think you can see that. It's a beautiful cover that I adore. And man, oh man, I got all that for like 20, 30 bucks. Isn't that crazy? Actually, I think it was 20 bucks. Like, I want to say 20 bucks was a good estimate. Because, man. Now, I want to talk about my magnum, or not my magnum opus, but it's like, it's what I'm so happy about coming in the mail. That is Of Blood and Fire. Or, sorry, This is not of Blood and Fire. This is of Darkness and Light. You can read it right there. It's of Darkness and Light. Anyways, look at this bad boy. Look at that. It's beautiful. It's stunning. It's just so good looking. And then the gold edges, and there is some beautiful, beautiful art inside. I'll show you guys. I'll show off one. Yeah, that's a good one. Here we go. I had it upside down, didn't I? No, I didn't. Wait. Wait. Wait, no, that's... Wait. No, Ignore me. I'm a little bit on the fritz today. I stayed up studying for a test. Wait, is this upside down? Hold on. This might be upside... No, it's not upside down. Yes, my brain is on the fritz. Here is an art piece from inside. It's absolutely stunning and gorgeous. I love this book, and I'm so happy that I got to be able to... I actually have all 3 versions of it that exist right now. I have hardcover, and I have an non-e-arc. I have an arc, a physical arc that was gifted to me. I'm very, very grateful for that. And, of course, now I have the special edition right here. And, of course, when the physical edition comes out, like the official broken binding trad published edition is coming out, I will be very, very excited to buy that as well. So that is about all I've got in terms of reading. I haven't been able to read that much because last week was a bit of a busy week, or well, it wasn't that busy, but this week is also busy. And it's all this school stuff, and so, yeah. A bunch of fun stuff, and of course, I've been continuing Destiny's Conflict. I just don't have it here. I left it in the other room, and I don't want to go grab it right now. So, you're going to have to deal with that. Anyways, Destiny's Conflict is going absolutely fantastically. I love Destiny's Conflict. It also gave me an idea for something I really want to talk about in another video, so... I have 2 big video ideas that I'm working on. Those are why we should read long fantasy series, or maybe not long fantasy series, just long series in general. And what happens to books when we translate them? It's just a question I want to ask, and if you can read multiple languages, I would absolutely love it if you could give input, because that would be absolutely fascinating to hear about. And yeah, okay, that's about all I've got. Sorry for being a bit of a mess today. I worked out earlier today, and that kills my voice, because when I walk in the weight room, I am very, very, very loud. I hope you all have a great day. Tell me, what have you guys all been reading? Or, yeah, no, what have you guys been... what have you guys been reading? I hope it's all been absolutely fantastic, and... soon, I'm going to have a Sordaneon review out, and then I want to get, hopefully next week, I can hopefully get either my language video or my other video that I told you guys about 2 seconds ago, but is escaping my brain out at the moment. And yeah, that's all I've got for today. So I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will see you all next time. Man, I love this shelf.